Hello everyone, I'm Sakshi. I'm a second year physiotherapy student and welcome back to MEMONEET. So today we'll be discussing the full test paper 1. We've completed the part test series. We had 4 part tests and now we'll have 10 full test papers. All of these full test papers will be based on the NCERT. So you'll have lines that have been asked previously. So basically previous year questions, lines that are actually really important for you to remember and the lines that toppers use. So yeah, all of those lines will be discussed here. So we've compiled a series of like amazing questions. So let's get right into it. I'll be your mentor and I'll be discussing the zoology section. So if there are any doubts, please feel free to comment in the comment section below. Also, you can DM any doubts on our Instagram or on our Telegram channel, or also connect to us on WhatsApp. If there's anything in this video, I would like to inform this beforehand that if there's anything in this video that you all find has been an error or there has been some technical error explaining or in the paper itself, you all can always please let us know. But all we want to know is that if whatever we are teaching is beneficial to you all. So hoping that this paper turns out to be the best one for you all and we continue with the series the same way as we've done with the part test. So let's get right into the section 1 for zoology for full test 1. What I'll be discussing is that I'll be explaining each question conceptually, as well as if there are direct lines, then there's not much concept behind it. So what I'll be doing is I'll be giving short forms or tricks because that's what helps you while writing the paper during NEET, because you're not going to be able to recollect all of these concepts that you've learned throughout. There are certain teeny tiny things that you'll remember. So let's begin. So first question number 151 for zoology section A, full test 1. So polyps reduce medusae dash and medusae form the polyps dash. So yeah, okay. So now we have this, just a second, let me show this to you all. Okay. So we have it here. Polyps reduce medusae asexually. And there's another short form that is medusa reduce polyps sexually. Please try to remember this because trust me, this is the one thing that I gave my NEET around like 3 years ago, and I still remember this sentence clearly because this was the short form I used. So I kept on reading it again and again, but at the end, what I remember is MPs. So medusa to polyps sexually. So obviously, I'll remember that polyps to medusa is asexually. So yeah, that's one thing that you all need to remember. So the correct answer for this is option number 3, which is polyps reduce medusa asexually, medusa forms polyps sexually. So what is given over here is that, okay. Yeah, the answer over here is also question, answer number 3. And what is this process called? That cnidarians are existing in both forms. Okay, polyps and medusae, they're existing in both forms. So they are undergoing alteration of generation. So this is known as metagenesis. This occurs in what? Obelia. Okay, now we have question number 152, where there are two statements. We need to state which one is true and which one is false. So let's go. Animals producing coelom are known as coelomates. Is that true? Obviously. Let's check the examples. Let's not make any judgments before we've read the whole question. So, okay. Animals possessing coelom are known as coelomates. Okay. What are they? They are annelids, mollusca, arthropoda, echinodermata, hemichordata, and chordata. All of them, these options are correct. So statement 1 is correct. For statement 2, an example of pseudocoelomates is platyhelminthes. Is it correct? No. Pseudocoelomates are not platyhelminthes. What is a pseudocoelomate then? Say, such a body cavity is called a pseudocoelom. Okay, so we said that animals possessing coelom are known as coelomates. So animals that do not possess coelom are known as acoelomates. There's something known as pseudocoelomates also. So what are pseudocoelomates? Basically, whenever we call something a coelomate, it is that the body cavity is lined by mesoderm. Okay. So now so if the body cavity is not lined by mesoderm, then it's known as acoelomate. But if mesoderm is present, not as a lining, but it's in scattered pouches in between the ectoderm and the endoderm, then such a body cavity is known as pseudocoelom. Okay, so the pseudocoelom is, and the animals possessing them are called pseudocoelomates. This is in Aschelminthes. So what we would think that if it's pseudocoelomates, it should, like to remember, we can remember it's in Platyhelminthes, but it is not. It's not present in Platyhelminthes. It is present in Aschelminthes. Okay. So statement 1 is true, but statement 2 is false. Again, revising for this question. So there are three types of animals based on the coelom, that is mesoderm, which is lining to the body cavity. So there are coelomates, acoelomates, pseudocoelomates. Coelomates are which have mesoderm lining the body cavity. Acoelomates do not have mesoderm lining the body cavity. Pseudocoelomates are mesoderm is present, but it's not lining the cavity. It is present in pouches between the ectoderm and the endoderm. And the example for pseudocoelomates is platyhelminthes. No, it's ascalminthes. Next question, 153. Annelids exhibit organ system level of body organization, bilateral symmetry, metameric segmented body, and coelomate structures. The correct answer is option number 2. So assertion and reason both are correct. So we know annelids have organ system level of organization. They have bilateral symmetry. They have metamerism, that they are metamerically symmetrical, and they're coelomates. And why? Because annelids live in marine and freshwater environment, and some of them are terrestrial as well. Okay. So this is also correct. This is also correct. But is the reason the correct explanation for the assertion? No. So the answer is option number 2. For 154, connective tissues are most abundant and widely distributed in the body of complex animals. They are named connective tissue because of what? Why would we call something connective? Okay, so connective tissues are basically most abundantly distributed in complex animals. They are named connective tissue because of the special function of connecting, that is, linking and supporting other tissues and organs of the body. Okay, they range from soft connective tissue to specialized connective tissue. So what is the answer for this? The answer is option number 2, specialized function of linking and supporting tissues and organs of the body. Next, for 155. So the answer is option number 1. Let's see the correct option. That is A2. So columnar epithelium is present in the lining of the stomach and intestine. Simple squamous epithelium is in the blood vessels. Simple cuboidal epithelium is in the tubular parts of nephrons and kidneys. And compound epithelium is found where? In the moist surface of buffalo cavity. Okay. Oh, what is this written as? Let's check once again. Okay, so clearly there's nothing known as buffalo cavity. It's buccal cavity. Please make the corrections here. There's nothing that I can explain as such in this question, but you need to remember which type of epithelium is present where. So yes, moving to the next question. 156th question, adipose tissue. One second, let me open the answers. Okay, the answer is option number 2. Now, this is a question from the old NCERT. Also, 155, that is the previous question, was also a question from the old NCERT. So, in the old NCERT, all of these concepts are mentioned. So, there are chances that if the paper is NCERT based, it may also relate to the older NCERT. We are not sure, which is why in this test, we've included this question. So similarly for 156 question, the answer is option number 2, which is A3, that is adipose tissue. We know it is specialized to store fats. Okay. D4, obviously bones are rich in calcium, salts, and collagen fibers. Then C2, which is cartilage, is present between bones of the vertebral column. And D1, areolar tissue, serves as support framework for the epithelium. For 157, okay. Frogs exhibit sexual dimorphism. Male frogs dash. The answer is option number 1. So male frogs can be distinguished by the presence of sound-producing vocal sacs. This is something we need to remember. Okay, there's a certain generalization. This is not the correct way to remember, but obviously some things we can remember only in a fun way. So there's a certain generalization that females, like for humans, I'm saying the females talk a lot, right? So we can relate the sound, the vocal sacs, everything in females. But in frogs, it's opposite. So males have the presence of a sound-producing vocal sac. So that is why the correct answer is this. There's no logic behind this, but it'll be easy to remember is what I feel. So yes, so I'll share it with you all. Now in question number 158, all cells in the epithelium are held together. Okay, the answer is 4, with little intercellular material. So they have little intercellular material. In nearly all animal tissues, specialized junctions provide both structured and functional link between its individual cells. So between individual cells, what provides the linking? It's very little intercellular material. What is present mainly? It's junctions, gap junctions, adhering junctions, etc. So structural and functional link is both with the specialized junctions. Moving to question number 159. Okay, which of the following are correct and incorrect? Asthma causes wheezing. Is that correct? Yes. Asthma is due to inflammation of the bronchi and bronchioles. Is that correct? Yes. Asthma is due to decreased respiratory surface area. Is that correct? No. Asthma is due to cigarette smoking. It's not due to cigarette smoking, but it can definitely be aggravated. Okay. So yes. Now, so we can't say that everyone who smokes will suffer from asthma, right? But if someone has asthma, cigarette smoking is generally avoided for those people. So, asthma is causes wheezing and is due to inflammation of bronchi and bronchioles. What are the other two statements? The other two statements are in emphysema, which is a chronic disorder in which the walls of the alveoli are damaged, due to which now, if this is the alveoli, if the walls are damaged, so obviously the surface area is decreased. So, respiratory surface area is decreased, and the cause for this damage is smoking. So, 3 and 4 is for emphysema, and 1 and 2 is for asthma. For question number 160, in the alveoli where there is high partial pressure of oxygen, low partial pressure of carbon dioxide, less H plus concentration, and low temperature. The factors are favorable for what? For the formation of oxyhemoglobin. So let's see, oxyhemoglobin is formed when there's higher oxygen. Okay, so we are saying that if you have more oxygen, I'll obviously use that oxygen, right? So I'll form oxyhemoglobin. That's the answer. Then next question. Okay, so where there's more oxygen, we need to utilize that oxygen. So we'll form oxyhemoglobin. This occurs in the alveoli, but in the tissues, what happens is that there's lesser oxygen, right? So we need to get oxygen. So what happens is dissociation from oxyhemoglobin. So formation in the alveoli, dissociation in the tissues. Total lung capacity, that is total volume of air is accommodated when? So total lung capacity is total volume of air accommodated in the lungs at the end of a forceful inspiration. The answer is option number 4. So total lung capacity includes the tidal volume, that is the volume that we breathe in normally. Then inspiratory reserve volume, then the expiratory reserve volume, and the residual volume as well. Okay. For 162, the answer is option number 3. So basically, we can say option number 3 is 3. So that is SA node can generate the maximum number of action potentials. Let's see. The number of action potentials that will be generated in a minute vary different parts of the nodal system pair. So the SA node can generate maximum of 70 to 75 minute action potentials and is responsible for initiating and maintaining the rhythmic contractile activity of the heart. So SA node 70 to 75 contractions, 70 to 75 action potentials per minute. So the answer is 3. For 163, a healthy individual has dash grams of hemoglobin in every 100 ml of blood. Okay. So the answer to this is option number 2, which is 12 to 16 grams of hemoglobin. It varies in females and in males, and the lifespan of an RBC is 120 days. We need to remember that. Okay. So it can vary to like 11 to 14 or 13 to 17. Okay. But 12 to 16 is the average. For 164, the question states, okay, 1 second, this is the first statement. Yeah, okay, the statement 1 starts here. It states that CNS passes on motor messages to initiate the contraction of smooth muscles of the bladder, and simultaneous relaxation of the urethral sphincter causes the release of urine. Okay. And the second statement is micturition reflex is the process of release of urine. Is it correct? Let's see. So 164, the answer is 1. Statement 1 is true, statement 2 is false. So what happens? CNS passes on motor message to initiate the contraction. Second, yeah. Okay, CNS passes on motor messages to initiate the contraction of the smooth muscles of the bladder. Now what happens? Sphincter will relax, okay, causing the release of urine. The process of release of urine is known as micturition. And the mechanism that cause micturition are known as micturition reflexes. So the process of release of urine is not micturition, it is the micturition reflex. So statement 2 is false. And statement 1 is true because when the sphincter is relaxed, only at that time can urine be expelled, right? For 165, vasa recta is absent or highly reduced in what? Okay. So the answer is option number 2. We have two types of nephrons, cortical nephrons and juxtamedullary nephrons. Okay. So vasa recta is reduced in cortical nephrons. We can remember this as, just a second. Okay. So we can remember this as cortical nephrons. So the vasa recta will be contracted, right? Contracted. Okay. Which means it's very much reduced in length, right? It's reduced. But in juxtamedullary nephron, it is not. So since juxtamedullary has an M, we can remember it as maximum, right? So it's a lot. But in cortical nephrons, it is reduced. So we can say it's contracted. It's an easy way to remember, that's all. So cortical nephrons, the vasodilector is contracted, that is reduced or absent. And in juxtamarine nephrons, it is maximum, which is because it has an M in it. So it is present. In 166, okay, pelvic girdle consists of two coxal bones. Each coxal bone is formed by the fusion of three bones, which is ilium, ischium, pubis. What are the three bones present in the ear? Malleus, incus, stapes. That's right. So ilium, ischium, and pubis is the correct answer. Just a second. Okay. So the answer is this 166.3. Next question 167. A number of muscle bundles of fascicle held together by a common collagenous connective tissue layer is known as what? Okay. The answer is 3. Anything that holds a lot of things together. So fascicles are held together by fascia. What are fascicles? Muscle bundles. So the answer is fascia. For 168, given statements define the role of a particular hormone. So let's see. What is the function of a hormone basically? It regulates the development, maturation, and functions of epididymis, vas deferens, seminal prostate, urethra, etc. Then stimulates muscular growth of facial axillary hair, stimulates spermatogenesis, acts on sexual behavior, anabolism, Leydig cells. Now, all of this we can see relates to males, right? So the answer for this probably will be a male hormone. What is the only male hormone mentioned here? It's androgens. So the answer is androgen. For 169, the sequence of the path of spermatozoa will be, okay. So spermatozoa, how do they go? So they are produced initially, the answer, just a second. Also, with the previous question, there's a really detailed explanation mentioned here, which explains each and every question. If time permits, I'll discuss this question again. But as of now, what I'm focusing on here is to clear as many concepts as possible and to give you tips and tricks to like solve questions easily, right? So in this, as we saw that all of the questions were related to, males, and we could see spermatogenesis and muscular growth and Leydig cells. So we related to androgens. Okay. So let's move on to the next question. So sorry, I was getting a call earlier, so I paused the question. So yeah, we learned the shortcut as AC, which is analogous organs in convergent evolution, and homologous organs in divergent evolution. Okay. So now, since both are wings, right? Wings of butterflies and wings of birds, both of them will have the same function, right? So that's why it's analogous, which have the same function. So it's convergent evolution. Next, what is the part? Miller showed that methane, hydrogen, ammonia, and dash when exposed to electric discharge in flask resulted in the formation of dash. Okay. So the answer for this is, 1 second. Where's the question one? This is question number 173, right? Okay. So here they've said that wings of them look alike and are the result of convergent evolution. Okay. And then next is, according to Darwin, evolution took place due to small variations in survival of the fittest, right? So this is also we read. Vermiform appendix is what? It's a vestigial organ. Is a dash and an vestigial organ. It's an evidence of evolution. Okay. So the anatomical and vestigial organ. That's it. And here in this blank, what will be the answer? Will be water vapor. Along with methane, hydrogen, ammonia, and water vapor when exposed to electric flash result in the formation of what? Nucleotides or amino acids? Amino acids. So next question. Okay, 174. So in 174, what is stated? Let me just erase this out. Yeah. So 174 states that about 2 million years ago, Dash probably lived in East African grasslands. They hunted with stone weapons. Their cranial capacity was about Dash. This is the direct NCERT line again. So you'll need to remember. The answer is option number 1. So 2 million years ago, who lived? Homo erectus lived where in East African grasslands. And they used to use stone tools for hunting and other activities. And the cranial capacity was 900 cubic centimeters. 900 cubic centimeters. Okay. So now the answer is option number 1. 175, antigen binding site in an antibody is formed by what? Let's see. So if there's a diagram, let me just check. Okay, there isn't one. It's fine. You all can just have it on Google or I'll show it after this explanation is over of the paper. So basically an antigen binding site in an antibody is formed by specific regions of both heavy and light chains coming together to create a structure that can bind to the antigens, right? So the answer for this will be option number 3. That is one heavy and one light chain, which work together to create a functional binding site in the antigen. For 176, the answer is 1. That is retrovirus replicate outside the cells. Based on the given diagram, the incorrect statement is what? Retrovirus replicate outside the cells. Let's see the explanation. So retroviruses like HIV replicate, okay, they always replicate inside the host cell, not outside. So what is happening in this case, you can see that retrovirus is there, it is entering inside the cell and then it's replicating, and then a new virus is formed and that virus is going outside the cell and infecting other cells. So obviously it's clear that retrovirus will always replicate inside the cell, not outside. Then in PBR 322, ampicillin resistance and tetracycline resistance genes are present. When we ligate a foreign DNA at TST1 site, the recombinant plasmids will lose resistance to the what? Okay, so the answer is option number 1, which is ampicillin. Because in PBR 322, both these genes offer antibiotic resistance. When ampicillin resistance gene provides resistance to ampicillin, tetracycline resistance gene provides resistance to tetracycline. Now, when foreign DNA is ligated into the PST1 site of PBR 322, it disrupts the tetracycline resistant gene, right? This disruption can lead to the loss of resistance of the ampicillin resistance gene. Okay. Okay, so the explanation giving us is a certain error here. It disrupts the ampicillin resistant gene should be the correct answer. Okay, okay, yeah, perfect. There's a diagram giving. So see, what does it say that? We have the ampicillin. Let me just on the marker. Yeah. So we have the ampicillin resistance gene section here, the tetracycline resistant gene section here, right? Now, when we cut at the when we insert something at the PST1 side, so what is disturbed? The ampicillin resistance is disturbed, right? So what will be lost? The resistance to ampicillin will be lost. Same if we do it at the BAM H1 side, so tetracycline resistance will be lost. Hence, the answer for this is ampicillin. Okay, moving on to the next question. 178. Given below are two statements, restriction endonucleases is not an important tool of biotechnology. Is that true? No, definitely not. Ligase enzyme is responsible for joining of DNA fragments. Okay, the answer number is 3. Statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. Obviously, ligating means joining. Ligase enzyme is used for the same. 179. Which of the following genes were introduced into cotton to protect it from bollworms? We've done this earlier. So, to protect from bollworms, as I've said earlier, just a second. Oh, what is the matter with the screen? I'm not able to zoom in. Yeah, okay, right. Perfect. So as I've said, what can you all see here? Bollworms. That is two L-like structures. Cried 2AB. What do you see? Two L-like structures. So which of the following were introduced in cotton to protect it from cotton bollworm? Cry 1AC and Cry 2AB. So let's see the answer. The answer for this is answer number 3. Both of these are introduced. Right. Perfect. So this is like you solve this question in like less than half a second because all you know that to protect it from cotton bollworm, we need genes that is Cry2AB. Okay. Next question we have. Let me just erase this. Okay, read the following statements and choose the correct option. Cerebellum has a very convoluted surface in order to provide additional space for more neurons. Is this statement correct? For 180. 1 second. Okay, yeah, answer number is option 1. All of these statements are correct. So cerebellum obviously has a convoluted surface in order to provide more space for more neurons. The medulla is connected to the spinal cord. Okay, we have midbrain spons medulla. Medulla is connected to the spinal cord. Then we have medulla contains controlling centers for respiration, CV reflexes, and gastric secretion. Yes, all of these statements are true. Moving on to question number 181. So why do some neurotransmitters excite the postsynaptic neuron where others inhibit the postsynaptic neuron? Why does this happen? Okay, the correct option is B. Closing of specific ion channels in the postsynaptic membrane by binding of the neurotransmitter. Okay, this causes what? Certain neurotransmitters excite the postsynaptic neuron while certain inhibit them. So the answer is option number 3. All we can see is that neurotransmitters can either excite the postsynaptic neuron or inhibit it, right? When a neurotransmitter binds to the receptor, it opens or closes the channel in the postsynaptic membrane. So if the channels are open, so this is my postsynaptic membrane, here's the receptor site, and here my neurotransmitter comes in, binds to the receptor site. Now, if it binds to the receptor site, and if the channel opens, so it's the excitatory neurotransmitter. If it closes, then it's the inhibitory neurotransmitter. For 182. Okay, we have the diagram. So let's see. What does A stand for? We all know A is dendrites. Okay. B is what? B is the Schwann cell. Is that correct? C is nodes of Ranvier and D is Nissel granules. Let's see the option. D is the Nissel granules. Is that right? Let me just see. Okay, C it's nodes of Ranvier and yeah. So the correct match for the label is option number C, which is node of Ranvier, and it helps in solitary conduction. What are dendrites? Dendrites are efferent fibers? No, they are extensions, right? So basically, what we can see here is option A is incorrect because the dendrites are not efferent fibers. Efferent fibers are the axons that carry signal away, right, from the this thing, from the central nervous system. Option B is incorrect because Schwann cells are responsible for myelination in the peripheral nervous system, not in the central nervous system. Option number D is incorrect because Nissel granules are involved in protein synthesis in the neuron, but they're not directly related to the internal conduction of the impulses. So what is the main part is that nodes of Ranvier help in solitary conduction. For 183rd question, which is the following pairs of hormones have receptors on the cell membrane of the target cell? Okay, so we need to see which of the hormones have receptors on the cell membrane. So the answer is option number 1, that is epinephrine and glucagon. Both of these have receptors on the target cells. Then for question number 184, we have to read and answer the correct option. Endocrine glands regulate neural activity and nervous system regulates the endocrine glands. Is that correct? Okay, so endocrine glands can control neural activity and neural system controls the endocrine activity. Let's see the answer. So the answer is 184, which is 1. That is, both the statements are correct. So obviously, endocrine glands regulate neural activity through hormone release, and the neural system controls the endocrine glands. How? By sending signals for hormone secretion. Next is in our body, both neural system and endocrine system jointly coordinate and integrate physiological activities. Obviously, because endo controls neural, neuro controls endo. So both are correct. For 185th question. Before Industrial Revolution in England, the population of lighter variety of distant bacteria was high. Okay, so before Industrial Revolution, that is before the pollution increased, lighter distant bacteria was higher in population. Now, during Industrial Revolution, due to excessive pollution, population of darker variety increased. Which type of selection is this? Let's see. The selection is directional selection. So directional selection occurs when the environment changes. Favor individuals with one phenotype and extreme of the phenotypical changes, leading to shift in frequency. So it's a directional change. Okay. Moving on to our section B for zoology. Okay, so now let's begin with section B for zoology for the full test 1. So question number 186 is a match the following type of question. Let's say cyclostomes matches with agnatha. Cyclostomes we know that belongs to agnatha, meaning without jaws. Okay, aves belongs to tetrapoda, right? Then we have osteichthyes, which are type of fishes. So they belong to Pisces. This is E4. So let's see, we have E4, we have A as 3. E4, A3. So now we have Aves. Aves is 5, B5. So the answer is 186 is 3. Let's see the answer here. Okay. But the answer written here is wrong. So please ignore that. The option is correct, which is answer number 3. Now we have in 187. In frog, the gaseous exchange during hibernation and aestivation takes place through what? Okay. So gaseous exchange in frogs takes place through the skin in hibernation and aestivation. Okay. Then we have, now we have 188, which is oxygen dissociation curve is a sigmoid shaped curve. This is, we all know this. For 189, duration of cardiac cycle is 0.8 seconds. Okay. So what is a cardiac cycle? Sequential events in the heart, which is cyclically repeated, is known as the cardiac cycle. It consists of what? It consists of systole and diastole of what? Of both the atria and the ventricle. And how many times is the heart beat? It beats 72 times per minute. That this is 0.8 seconds. For one systole, one diastole of both the atria and the ventricles. What is an age-related disorder commonly caused by decreased level of estrogen? Okay, estrogen is reduced. So what will occur in females? Basically, it's osteoporosis. So estrogen is the osteoporosis is the age-related disorder which causes decrease in which is caused due to decrease in estrogen, which causes decrease in bone mass and increased chances of fracture. So females after a certain age, when we know that the estrogen levels are decreased, are advised to have calcium tablets. Okay, next question. 191. Which hormone is not a steroid hormone? Let's see. So epinephrine is not a steroid hormone. What is epinephrine then? One second. Let me just open the answer clearly. Okay, it's an amino acid derivative. Right. Now we have uh, assertion and reasoning type of question. 192. Sperm formation continues even in old men. That's true. Ovum formation ceases in women around the age of 50 years. Is that true? Yes. So assertion is also true, reason is also true. But one is for females, one is for males. So are they both related, or is it the explanation for the other one? No. So the answer is option number two. Assertion and reason are true, but it's not the correct explanation for the assertion. 193. Okay. Which is the pair of pathogens and the disease caused by them, which is not a matching pair. Okay. So we have to say viruses cause cold. Is that true? Yeah. Then salmonella causes typhoid, right? Salmonella typhi, typhoid, microsporum filariasis. This is incorrectly matched. Why is it so? Because the disease filariasis is caused by roundworms. Okay, not by microsporum. And then malaria is caused by plasmodium malaria. So that's correct. Okay, now we'll see. So the answer for 193 is 3. Now we have 194. Given below are two statements labeled assertion and reasoning. Let's see. In human beings, insulin is synthesized as prohormone, which needs to be processed before it fully becomes mature and functional. Yes, that's true. And the extra set of C peptide is to be removed from A and B peptide chain of insulin. Okay, that's all. So now for 194, the answer is one second, where's the answer? Yeah, the answer is option number 3. That is both A and R are correct, and it is the correct explanation as well. So we can see that the assertion is what? Insulin is secreted as proinsulin, right? And then it needs to be processed. How is it processed? By removing the C peptide part. Okay, so that's correct. So both are related also, and they are correct also. For 195, in order to force bacteria to take up DNA, it is treated with a high concentration of what? High concentration of calcium. Just what I've noticed that throughout the syllabus of NEET, whenever we talk about a particular ion, most frequently the answer is calcium. Even if we are seeing for muscle contraction, even if we are seeing for taking up DNA, all the answers are calcium. Okay. Just to remember, you cannot apply this trick blindly in the exam because negative marking. Yes, okay. Moving to 196 question. A fall in GFR activates what? It activates the JGA cells to release what? Renin. So juxtaglomerular apparatus, that is the juxtaglomerular cells, are activated to secrete or release renin. Right. And now renin does what? It converts angiotensinogen in the blood to angiotensin 1. Angiotensin 1 further changes to angiotensin 2. And then the blood pressure is maintained. For 197th question, Leydig cells produce a group of male hormones called what? Is estrogen a male hormone? Is insulin a male hormone? No. Is progesterone a male hormone? No. It's a pregnancy hormone. So what's the male hormone? Androgen. So that's the correct answer. Leydig cells are present where? In the seminiferous tubules. Alpha-1 antitrypsin is what? Okay, let's see. So it's 198th question, which is answer number 4. It is used to treat emphysema, right? So it is what? It is a human protein. It's not an antacid. It's not an enzyme. It's not used to treat arthritis. It is used to treat emphysema, and it's a protein. So here we've written it as A. The option number should be 3, and the correct answer is option number 4, which is used to treat emphysema. For 199, which part of the brain controls body temperature? Let's see. So body temperature we know is controlled by the hypothalamus. Why is it controlled by the hypothalamus? Because it's known as a temperature regulating center. Why is it called so? Because any temperature in the body are controlled by the hypothalamus. Also, that has other centers which control the urges for eating and drinking as well. The last question for the full test 1, let's see. Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium is known to be affected by gene flow, gene drift, mutation, genetic recombination, and what? One more thing. That is, it's affected by natural selection. So 5 factors are known to affect Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium. That is gene migration. Okay, so if something has migrated, then it drifts, then it recombines, then it naturally selects, and then it mutates. Okay. So genetic, what are the things we are seeing? The genetic migration, genetic drift, genetic recombination, natural selection, and then mutation. Okay. So the answer are these 5 options. You'll need to remember genetic migration, genetic drift, recombination, selection, natural selection, that is, and then mutation. Okay. So yeah. Okay, so here we've completed with the full test paper 1. and discussion of the zoology section of full test paper 1. If there's anything that you all need to talk about, anything you want to discuss regarding this paper or any other papers that have been further that will be further solved and which have been previously solved, you all can mention it in the comment section below, and we'll be more than happy to reply to your comments and help you all at the earliest. Okay. At the end of each paper, there is a QR code mentioned through which you can install the MEMONEET mobile app to scan your OMR sheet. So this Brahmastra Test Series offers Brahmastra Test Series on MEMONEET offers you the special feature to scan your OMR and have real-time answers to whatever you have solved. To know more, please download the app and get it right now. Okay. Thank you so much. I hope all your doubts were solved, and we'll be back with another paper, another full paper soon. Till then, stay tuned, keep revising, and please don't miss out on the video solutions, as there are certain tips and tricks that you can't just get by reading through the textbook, right? So be focused, and that's it. Hoping to see all, each one of you all get selected, and each one of you all have an amazing seat, an amazing rank, and just be with MEMONEET, be with us, and God is seeing the rest. Thank you so much.